greetings.
I would say that it's a sunny day, but it isn't.
Yeah, because all of a sudden we live in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, what the GD hell?
With 4 times the cost of living.
Right. I don't even get
know.
any sunshine. I can't get a tan like this. I don't even look like I'm from California
We're
now.
outraged. How am I supposed to be a bronze goddess in a turtleneck?
Spray tans it is.
Welcome to episode 330 today.
Ooh, we're bitter,
the
but
heck
not really.
Do you think you've
Shouldn't
become increasingly bitter because of me or because you're like older
Just
and wiser?
No. I think it's maybe older and wiser, but I definitely am not bitter. And I was laughing with my supervisor because I was telling her about that episode where I was talking
Susan?
and you said, yes, Susan, and you said, you can't believe I went through a whole program and had to deal with people and came out with like more understanding of the human spirit than you like tried to crush it. And I was like, yeah, maybe I am getting jaded. And my supervisor was like, you are never going to be jaded. You can't even fake it.
Yeah, why is that?
Who knows?
You think it's
maybe
just
it's your fault,
in
though.
your nature?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Optimist.
You are so blessed.
Oh, well, too blessed to be stressed over here.
I mean, for real.
Oh, man. No.
Because I
about other
think,
things,
if you're born a Tigger rather than an Eeyore, that is a real leg up
that
on.
is true. You know what? That is true because everybody has a different baseline of happiness, and I have always thought that my baseline is higher than other people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's lucky.
I almost think it's a defect. Like that,
Yeah, it probably
that's
is.
not normal, but it worked out great.
Yeah. A lot of people think I'm faking it, and then they'll know me for years, and they're like, oh, no, she is like this.
It's. I don't know how we're friends. I have a funny story for you, though. You'll love this. Okay. So yesterday we were driving Lincoln to school, and you know how on trash day it's always fun to see like what people put out for a pickup. It just is.
I love a good roadside or alley find.
Garbage picking story.
Yes.
And I'm not above garbage picking. I will take it if I want it. But
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, right, because, trash treasure, whatever.
Alley finds are how I decorated my entire apartment in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the time and you happen upon something, why not? Well, somebody had put out a mattress, which is not unusual, of course. And
Yeah, but don't grab that, Suze.
well, of course, yeah, I'm not interested in those. But it had a sign on it, and Adam said, I think that sign said potential bedbugs.
Why would you advertise that?
Sarah, I can't get over it. So
Wait, okay.
So when we drove back home,
Potential. Because that guy's still optimistic.
that's what I said. I love the idea that because you could read it as this mattress potentially has bug bugs or bed bugs, sorry, or it's that the bed bugs have potential. Like I love that idea too. They could one day be really good bed bugs.
Yeah, rise up.
So we drove back down, and sure enough, it said potential bed bugs. And we keep driving, and then I said, no, Adam, I have to get a picture of that.
Have to.
And so we went down, turned around, and by the time we had come back up, the woman from inside the house had taken the sign off and went back in with it.
No!
Like there must have been a lot of gawking.
A lot of gawking, and I want to know what the conversation is going on between the couple. Because there's definitely a conversation where she wins in the end. Where she argued with him that we can't put the sign out. That's ridiculous. Nobody's going to take the mattress in the first place. Husband's like, no, what if somebody does take the mattress and then they take it home and they get bed bugs? I can't live with myself. And she's like, we got to put the sign up. We don't know. And then,
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's say you had a mattress and you thought there was potentially bed bugs on it. Okay.
It's getting incinerated.
Incinerated.
100%.
You wouldn't put it out on the curb?
I wouldn't put it within 100 yards of my house.
What would you do?
Like,
call hazmat?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I am scared to death of those things. I shouldn't be,
Scared
but
to death.
I am. Like, that freak, because it feels like something that spreads like, I love my stuff too much to get rid of it.
So you're fearful of how hard they are to get rid of?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's a nightmare.
And then they spread to and then, this too. I do not want to be the one to give it to somebody else. That would be my nightmare.
It's like an STD.
Yeah, totally. Suze, one time I took Bo to the dog, like the kennel or like doggy daycare or whatever. Not the kennel, for goodness sakes. Doggy daycare. Yes, Splash. And she had kennel cough. Bordello that they're supposed to get the vaccine for. And she did get a vaccine, but some dogs still just get it.
Yeah.
And when I knew that she was going there with a contagious disease, even though she was on the medication and everything, and I was so terrified that I was going to get like the call of shame of like, you need to come get your dog. And I felt so guilty all day. And I was like, I wonder if this is what mothers who have to get rid of lice from their kids feel like. And then they send them back to school and they're like, please God, don't let my kid be the kid that infects everybody with lice. That's how I felt.
Shameful.
And I feel like that.
So right.
Yes. It's the shame thing.
Yeah, but that's how I would feel about bedbugs and why I would not put a sign on it.
Yeah, but like, you're putting the sign up to prevent. I understand the intention of the sign.
Absolutely.
He doesn't want, and I don't know why I assume the person who put potential bedbugs sign on the bed is a he, even though the woman is the one. I don't know why that's how it is in my head, but I can like see them in my head.
She came out in her caftan and waltzed up and ripped that sign right off.
Oh my God. Yeah, if she ripped it off, she didn't write that.
No, she wasn't happy about it.
See, husband wrote, oh my God, I just want to go interview them.
That is a classic guy thing to do where they are trying to do the right thing. And then now I'm talking about them on a podcast. It's just so weird.
So true.
I don't know. And who in their right mind would take a used mattress from the curb?
I think people would. Well, you never know.
I can understand a used one if you knew, it was clean. Remember that one time I listed that?
Yep. You need to tell that story again right this second.
I put a used mattress on, what is that? Craigslist free.
Yes.
So it's completely free, of course. But it was a great mattress, but somebody had I can't do it. There was a stain on it. It looked like someone had died on it, but it was just an innocuous stain. And there was a whole situation. I thought someone was punking me or trolling me, and then I took it too far.
And sure enough, somebody really did want that mattress, and Susie's like trying to call their bluff.
Right. She was like, what did she say? There was a question that was ridiculous, and I was like, oh, no, except for the guy who died on it, it's perfectly fine.
Yes. And they were like, well, that's okay.
Yes.
No big deal. Like, we're fine with that. Yes. Susie was like, what the hell? And then I think you got rid of the mattress, and then they asked for it. They were like, so am I ever getting my mattress? And you were like, what? You really wanted that?
Yeah, I thought we were involved in performance
you thought you were getting punked.
Right. Well, one way we're not getting punked is with our Rothy's shoes because they're adorable.
Love them.
Mm-hmm. They're really cute. You've seen them in all of my pictures. I mean, what more do you want? I wear them every day.
Same.
They're so comfortable. They're so stylish. They're made out of recycled plastic, which you'd never, ever guess. And
they are my go-to. I'm doing a speaking presentation and I have to stand up for question mark however long, and I don't want to be uncomfortable, but I want to look great. Rothy's.
Yeah. And you can throw them in the wash and wash them. They will come out good as new. And so they're really great for cost per wear because they last forever. And they have tons of colors and they have the different styles. Mine are the sneakers. I think Sarah has the point.
I do have the point.
The loafer. the flat, they're really nice. They have all different kinds. They're perfect if you work in an office and you want to look nice, but you want to be comfortable. Check out all the amazing styles available now at rothys.com/braincandy. Go to rothys.com, rothys.com/braincandy to get your new favorite flats. Comfort, style, and sustainability. These are the shoes you've been waiting for. Head to rothys.com/braincandy today. And they make them for girls too, not just women.
Oh, they're so cute.
So you can get some for your daughter. It's really nice.
Me and my co-therapist, Kristen, shout out to Kristen, we, did couples therapy together. And we both are proud owners of Rothys and would often show up wearing our matching pair. And it looked like we were just twinning as therapists.
By the way,
doing our couples therapy.
Kristen was at your graduation party. And
sure was.
You had said you guys were co-therapists, but so all of your clients she would see as well?
No, we would do couples together. So it's really helpful to have, when you work with couples or families or more than one person in the room, it can be really beneficial if you work well with a therapist and, to have somebody else there with you. You kind of work as a team and you don't miss anything. You have one person who's kind of checking out one, and then you can kind of go back and forth on, who am I aligning with here, and, what could really...
Do you guys do a good cop, bad cop routine or anything?
Not good cop, bad cop, but I think naturally, just when you have 4 people in the room, 2 people are going to become more aligned than, and people tend to pair up. So you can kind of feel that out, and it more feels like everybody has an ally. And that's it. It's more but you switch it up so that there's no alliances.
So there's no pile-on. There's never 3 against 1.
Yeah, you try not to do that.
Yeah,
unless somebody really needs to be called out on there.
Right.
Shit.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that technique.
Yeah, and there's some other different therapeutic orientations. One called the Milan system is you do you work with a whole team and they watch you from behind. It's so unrealistic. It would never actually work in a real setting, and I don't know where they would even do this, but it's one of the original models, and it's 6 people watch behind a glass, and they it's like having a team look at you, and essentially it's the real world. I don't know. Yeah, and everybody else is judging from the outside as you watch in, and then they come in and they make their commentary, and they see, well, this is what I observed, this is what I observed. So the person who's in the room, the client, gets the opinion of, 6+ people, and apparently it gives them a real perspective of how other people see them in the world, and maybe that helps. But I think it's just 6 people who could have different biases, and getting to know somebody is a little better than that.
You made me think about, we often talk about how reality TV shows need to provide aftercare, and that's something really important to you in your work in therapy.
Yes.
And I can't remember what show this was about, but I read an article that was describing some difficulties cast members had after being on a particular reality show. And, you always hear this line of, there's just no way to know what it's going to be like until you do it. So even if you warn somebody that this could be difficult, you're going to get a lot of social media backlash and criticism and trolls. There's just no way to sort of simulate it in someone's mind or help them see it more clearly, and really until they walk in those shoes. And so that when I read that, I just thought even more about your feelings about this, and how the only thing that can be done is to provide aftercare.
So that's it. Right.
Because you can't talk someone out of it. Nobody could have talked me out of it.
Right. And there's something even to that there's a reason why you can't. I mean, it is human nature to predict the best, to want the best outcome in the future for yourself. And for that to be what you base all of your forward action on, and for anything towards that goal. You go, well, the goal is we wouldn't have no drive if what we looked at in the future, or what we predicted for the future was a negative outcome. You'd move away from that.
Right. So
it feels like human instinct to make the bet, like just look
walk
at something
into
and
it.
only see the good stuff.
Well, yeah, because if someone
blinders
were
on.
to do cost-benefit analysis before doing it, they can only do it in theory.
Right.
You don't realize how much, how many trolls you'll have and how much criticism you'll get and what kind of edit you'll get. There's just no way to know that.
And maybe the things that are the benefits that come from it, they already experience in small doses. Mm-hmm. So it's easier to say, like, yeah, I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
I would like more of that. But you know what? You don't know what it feels like to be edited and, have your words
Vilified.
But yeah. You don't know it because you've never, ever experienced that. Mm-hmm. So one is easier to, latch onto. If you can't even comprehend, how can you? Yeah, it's impossible. I had no idea. Oh, my God.
I think we think that the good stuff is going to be way more fun.
Yes.
Than it ended up being.
Oh, totally. See, all of these are theories, and I bet if I were to take all of the theories that we've just kind of spitballed when we're on here, and theorized, there you go, and looked into like the research studies that match what these are, because there's absolutely studies that show that.
Yeah. Your expectation is not going to match the reality.
This is like this research writes itself.
I know. It's just, to me, it's so obvious, and maybe it's obvious to everyone, but there's no incentive for the production companies to provide aftercare because they've already gotten what they want and what they profit from. So really, what would be in it for them apart from maybe avoiding some lawsuit or something?
Yeah. What is the right? I mean, there's just not enough people for there to be like, you can't like protest this.
Right, unionize.
Or unionize. You can't, it just seems like...
it's kind of a lost cause, but that's why your practice is going to be good, because I'm sure people will come to you for that very thing.
Yeah, that's it. And then, you know what? Production companies will start to care, and maybe they'll, I don't know, who knows?
That's optimistic. I like that.
Let's hope that nothing bad happens and it's not like out of desperation or illegal like class action lawsuit or something.
Well, something
like that.
bad will happen.
Yes, I know.
I think I know what it was. It was a British talk show. I think it's in the vein of Jerry Springer, and someone had gone on and had it out with their family. I think it was maybe a paternity type thing or something, and then they ended their life after they've taped and they canceled the show in the end. But it doesn't solve the problem. Of, ambush television.
God. Yeah, it's really bad. And I'm even thinking about what we've been talking about recently, like the Kenyan runners.
Yeah.
And lottery winners.
Yes.
And anybody who just comes into a gigantic shift of identity and, like, I don't know, it doesn't even have to be financial gain, but, like, when who you are is just whatever it is.
Yeah, when you're just in some sort of culture shock, financial or otherwise, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I even think about somebody who, God forbid, like dove into a pool and had an accident and became a paraplegic.
Yeah.
I could do that too.
Yeah.
Let's find that thing let's focus on the other stuff. Mm-hmm. Make meaning. Mm-hmm. I'm going to church right now in my mind.
I know. I'm so proud of you. But, I mean, that's why we need people like you. It's so important.
Well, thanks, Suze.
Another thing that we definitely need is, I love talking about this too, because isn't it fun to get people to try something that's completely free and will save them money? That is what Honey is. Honey is a little, it's an extender on your internet. So I have it on Chrome.
I put this on Landon's laptop.
Isn't it great?
He doesn't even know that he's saving money, but he is. It's great.
Honey it's totally free, and it takes 2 clicks to put it onto your computer's browser. And then when you shop, Honey scans for coupons and stuff. So if I'm going to check out from Amazon or J.Crew or whatever, they will say, hey, there's coupon code or whatever, and they'll plug it in and you save money. Takes 0 effort to install. Like I said, just 2 clicks. And these are some of the things people said on Twitter. I was going to spend a little over $200 on at Fashion Nova, but Honey came in the clutch and helped me save $84.49.
Whoa!
That's so fun.
Damn! Oh my God. I love a coupon code. It's like my favorite thing. And if you're anything like me, you've wasted countless hours searching and entering ones that don't work. So there you go.
Yeah, it's so fun. There's no reason not to use Honey. It's free to use, easy to install on your computer in just 2 clicks. Don't take it from us. Take it from that tweet we just heard. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/braincandy. That's joinhoney.com/braincandy. I wonder if there's a way you can see how much you've saved, because I've been using it
sure
for
there is.
several years. So I bet that I've saved a lot of dough.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Oh God, that's so great.
Okay. So I have something I found this morning I wanted to ask your opinion about. Let me pull it up.
I love when you want my opinion.
Oh, okay. So, there's always these articles about millennials and generations and how they're different. And it was one of these videos where they're describing a study that was done about self-reporting whether you're a good cook or not. And
okay.
Would you say you're a good cook?
No.
No, not too good?
Not really, because my attention span is too short.
Oh, you get bored.
Like, it's hard. No, it's hard for me to follow a recipe without,
Yeah.
I have to know what I'm cooking. If I know what I'm doing.
You're okay.
If I made it before, but... And compared to my husband, no.
Well, maybe you guys are a case in point, because you're a millennial. He's what would he be? Generation X. And this is in matching with the data, which is that boomers and Generation X are more competent in the kitchen than millennials.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Millennials find it very difficult to even, cook eggs correctly. They were saying that's a challenge for them. Would you say you experienced that?
First of all, cooking eggs is the most difficult thing to cook well. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but there is I want to say some famous French chef, and when he hires a new, another chef, apprentice, whatever they call them, sous chef, I guess. The only test he does is he goes, "Here you go, cook me an egg." And to get everything there's just so much that could go wrong. It's so easy, but there's so much variation. And I bet they leave it on too long, or it's so easy to have overcooked eggs, and they're so not good.
It also said that 40% of millennials didn't know what a butter knife was.
What?
Yeah, they couldn't identify it, or a garlic press.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I know what both those things are.
Yeah. You're like, that's a little much.
I might be a good cook.
And they were saying, millennials eat out more, so I'm sure that contributes to their...
that's it.
Yeah. And I mean, who can blame them?
I think it has to do... I'm going back to when we talked about that TED Talk I saw on being bored and switching your attentions, and how that uses glucose and, brain power and everything. And I wonder if maybe our attention span isn't... Maybe that's it. We just don't have the attention span, and we get sidetracked, because I want to know what is the thing that makes somebody a bad cook. Like, I can point to exactly what it is. I know for me, I will either forget a step, or I'll leave it in too long, or leave it on too long, or something like that. Or I use too high of heat because I'm rushing, so I'm not taking my time, and I'm not seasoning it at each step. You season at the beginning. I'm not using enough. The only time I did use enough seasoning, this is so funny, I had a cold and I couldn't taste anything. And so I just kept adding stuff. And then I remembered that I had a cold. And I was like, oh my God, I bet I put so much seasoning in here.
Right.
And Landon tried this. He was like, this is delicious. For the record, this is the level of seasoning you need. And I'm like, what? I put so much in there. So clearly I under-season my food. So I can point to exactly what it is. And I think by millennials understanding what it is, I want to know, is it that you get sidetracked and you maybe miss a step in the directions? Do you try to get creative and substitute?
With their phones.
Yeah. My mom was a substituter.
Oh,
like
no.
she would,
That's
and
never
that
the
made
answer.
it not good. It was like, we don't have this. I know, let's just use this. Nope. That's nope. Don't do that. And it just didn't work right. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I'm just surprised you're not more of like a bad baker, because baking, you have to be very precise. It's like chemistry.
Guess what? It's the total opposite.
This makes no sense then.
I can bake like a motherfucker.
Well,
For real.
explain that. How can you follow that recipe?
Well, one is an open flame where I have to constantly be looking and checking, and if I don't pay attention, like that's the part where it goes wrong. Like, or I'll put the onions in at the same time as the bell peppers, and then they cook at the same time, and the onions are burnt, or something like that. Baking is so precise and such a science that I can prep, I can have everything out, I measure it, it's perfect, I know that it's basically just going to be a chemical reaction in there that's happening.
God.
And
You're
I know,
a mystery.
like I make my own pancakes from scratch. Like I don't even need a recipe. I can just eyeball it. I know that kind of stuff I got. Baking, fine. Cooking, it's the heat.
That is so weird.
Must be my fear of fire.
Oh my God. Well,
I could probably do a raw diet, and I can cook a salad like a motherfucker too.
Yeah, maybe, that's just not your thing. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you know your limits.
I do. You are an excellent cook.
Oh, that's nice of you to say.
Yeah, and the other night, people out there, Susie just whipped up a curry in like 2 seconds.
No.
And she was talking to me the whole time.
I love how this is shocking to you.
I can't do that. That's like rub your stomach, pat your head kind of shit.
Oh, wow. We had a great chin wag. That was real fun.
We sure did. That was a great night. That was one of my favorite nights at your house.
Well, because my family wasn't there.
Oh, get out.
Well, so
and I had time.
I could give you my full
rushed.
attention, and we could just have a proper chat. It was really nice.
Oh, it was lovely.
We worked through some shit.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, like family BS.
Oh, my God, it's the best.
There's no shortage of that ever. I want to ask your opinion about something I saw in the news yesterday. So,
Lay it on me, sister.
Okay, a dog owner who died put in her will.
Suze, I have this story to share with you.
What do you think? Well, so
Not
just
okay.
for the listeners, so she put in her will that she wanted to be buried with her dog. However, her dog was still alive, so they euthanized
And totally
it.
healthy.
Yeah, they euthanized the dog and buried it with her. What do you think about that?
That's so messed up.
Of course it is. It's insane.
I mean, and I just think it's gross that there are, because I was reading the article, it says she happens to live in a state, well, they didn't use the word happens, but she lives in a state where, like, euthanasia is legal in any situation. What the hell kind of law is that?
Yeah.
So is that an absence of a law, or is that an actual law that says, this is my question. So is it like there's nothing that says we're not allowed to do this?
Right.
Or is it that there's a law that says, yeah, go ahead, anytime you want to just off your dog?
Yeah.
And so what? Could you shoot the dog? Is that also legal? Or is it only if you euthanize it? Come on. I'm mad. And then the worst was that the article started with a reference to ancient Egypt and how they would bury and I'm like, are you trying to make me okay with this?
It's funny that you say that, because when I heard the story, I was thinking of the story in the Bible of King Solomon when 2 women claimed that a baby was each theirs, and they couldn't figure out what to do with this kid because both women said it was their kid. And so King Solomon said he was going to cut the baby in half and they could each take half. And then, of course, the real mother said, no, don't do that to my son. And then he was heralded as this wise sage. So I'm thinking about that with this dog. Like, what kind of true loving owner would kill their dog for their own dead self?
This is a pure narcissist.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what it is? It is because do you remember
think of
in the
pets
book
as
we read?
objects. Yes.
Yes. That. Oh my gosh, that's exactly it.
Yeah, in John Ronson's
Psychopath? The psychopath test.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he said
which I don't know where that book is because I passed it around to every single person in my program. So far, we've definitely all read it. And so now it's like out there being read by who knows who. And I just was like, whatever you do, just keep passing it along because it's crazy, that book.
Yeah. He talks about how sociopaths or psychopaths see their animals. Usually they're very loving towards their pets, but he said that they think of it as the same as like a car or another possession that they treasure, but don't love in the way that they should, right?
Love because it's a reflection of them.
Yes, an extension.
So they'll do things, an extension of them. So they'll do things like memorialize the dog by getting it mounted or stuffed or a big portrait over there, which, a lot of people do, but it's in a different, there's a different intention.
Okay. So that's what is probably at play here.
I remember John Ronson describing some portrait above this person's mantle where he was posed next to his dogs, but it was done in a way that was I don't know, I think the way he treated the dog and then how he posed next to it didn't match, which is kind of like what's happening here.
Yeah,
and it just makes you, as a person who loves animals, you're like, something doesn't feel right about this.
Yeah, because love would never kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Speaking of dog and doing messed up things to dogs, I just, to add this to the story, I just saw on an MTV article, one of the girls from Teen Mom.
Oh yeah, Janelle.
She went to Hawaii and left her Great Dane in this.
Oh, this is a different story.
This cage for a week.
Oh my God.
And was like, oh, people are feeding it and I can't believe it. And animal control ended up coming and seizing the dog. And she said it was because there were tornadoes coming and it was for the dog's safety. No. And then they had pictures of what this cage looked like. And it's a Great Dane. And the dog was in there for more than 5 days, and nobody was there cleaning up after it. So you can imagine what a 8 by 4 foot kennel.
That's terrible.
Terrible. I can't even leave my dogs at home for more than. Come on. Right. Forget it. Or outside. No. Well,
I'll tell you what's not terrible, and that's open fit, Sarah.
Definitely not terrible.
and
you know what? Healthy. Maybe you have one of those cute little dogs, if your dog is like mine, that when you do yoga will come and kind of do yoga with you.
That's real cute. I don't have a dog that does that, but I do have a son that does that.
Oh,
and I
adorable.
do think it's fun. Yeah, and it is good to do as a family because that's a great lesson. OpenFit makes it so easy too because it's like the Netflix of workout videos. You can do any kind that you want. They have the Extend Bar, which is a worldwide sensation. And, instead of going to one of those bar gyms that are super expensive and you need all that equipment, you can just go on and watch the video and do the stuff right in your house or wherever you are from your tablet or your phone or your computer. And you can get strong with us. OpenFit has changed the way we work out. And with our code BRAINCANDY, you can join us on a fitness journey personalized just for you. Again, use our code BRAINCANDY and start using OpenFit for your journey to a healthier life. Right now, during the OpenFit 30-day challenge, our listeners get a special extended 30-day free trial membership to OpenFit where you can lose up to 15 pounds in 30 days. When you text BRAINCANDY to 303030, you'll get full access to OpenFit, all the workouts and nutrition information totally free. Again, just text BRAINCANDY to 303030. Standard message and data rates may apply. Got that?
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, that dog story is bonkers.
Summer is going to be my summer of getting fit.
Yeah? What are your goals?
Oh my gosh. I have a big goal, Susie.
Oh my God.
The girls from my cohort and I signed up to, a year from now, do a half marathon that's in Solvang in wine country. And you run to the finish line that's a wine tasting.
I'll be waiting at the finish line.
That's what I figured you would do.
Are you excited about this?
I am. I'm excited because I love doing something like that with a bunch of people who will help keep you accountable. And, I need a goal. That's
Are these
important.
women generally runners?
One of them just did it this year and
Okay.
was like, you have to do it with us. And it's not difficult to do 13 miles, believe it or not.
No,
Once
that is
you
false.
can get 5, once you get 5 down, the rest is like, it's really just making sure your feet are comfortable and you don't get blisters. And that's it. I think.
This is not even a question. I have never in my life run 5 miles.
Wow.
Not one time.
Wow.
And I never will.
There you go. You know what?
It's like you. I know my
everybody has
limits.
different goals. No, you know your limits. There you go. Everybody does.
That's cool, though. I'm happy for you if that
Yeah.
makes you happy.
Yeah, I thought I'd do it. And plus, running, when I ran for a bit, I was in such good shape. I had slept so well. I was running more than 5 miles for a bit there. Real braggy about it in those days.
Were
My
you?
Nike run. Oh, it was when Landon and I were not together. And
Oh, yeah.
I was like a single lady. And you bet I took like screenshots of all those, like, post my route. Like,
Oh, my God. You were one of those people?
totally. Oh, come on. Yes.
What is that about when
'cause-
people do that? Just bragging or
Well, maybe just,
they're excited about
I think
the
it goes
accomplishment?
back to excited about the accomplishment. And I was listening to the episode that we did a couple weeks ago about, like your identity and what your family thinks of you and how that could be different than what other people think of you. And how when you really want when you really want to identify as like, I'm a runner or I'm fit or I'm whatever it is, then those are the things that we want to advertise to the world. So I was in a place where I really wanted to redefine myself as somebody who was physically fit and cared about, staying active.
Yeah,
And so
okay.
I
So
made
you're
sure to post all
signaling.
that. Yeah. I probably didn't post the like pizza and ice cream that I was eating,
Well,
which I will proudly post now.
well, yeah, you're allowed to do both, right?
Yeah, totally. It's all
yeah,
about balance.
yeah.
I had a delicious ice cream sandwich last night for dessert. It was amazing.
What kind?
Oh my God, Trader Joe's has these ice cream sandwiches. I had the gals over from my cohort to just like take some pictures for our paperwork, and we have to like get passport photos and everything. And I do not like getting passport photos at those our photo places and everything, like Walgreens, CVS, whatevs. Let them write me angry letters because the lighting's never good. They never do a good job. And so I'm like, I'll take them. I'll pop them into a little, like smooth out your face little app. And then you'll have beautiful photos forever because if it's going to go on important documentation, it needs to look good.
Oh, my God. I couldn't agree more, obviously.
Right. So, yes. So what was my point of that? I had the gals over and, oh, yes. So I bought ice cream sandwiches and then they, left a little bit early and were like, oh, I'm going to go have dinner with my family. And one of the other gals was going and doing a food tasting for her wedding. So she's not going to have an ice cream sandwich before. And so I enjoyed them all myself.
Yum.
So good. I highly recommend Trader Joe's ice cream sandwiches. When was the last time you even had an ice cream sandwich, Susie?
It's been a while, but I love
Like
them.
with the cookies
I love them.
and the ice cream and then rolled in chocolate chips on the outside?
Oh, wow. That's
Come
like
on.
those have a different name. What are those called? Dilly Bar? No,
I don't-
Dilly Bar.
Oh,
Something.
who knows?
But I used to love those babies.
Right. Oh, I'm making everybody hungry right now. Trader Joe should be our sponsor just for that. Sounds like I'm sponsoring them.
This year, after we sang happy birthday to Lincoln on his birthday, he just got real excited. And Adam was holding the cake in front of him. And then something happened and that thing went tumbling down.
No!
It did.
Oh my God, I can't believe you waited this long to tell me this story. When I say, hey, how was his birthday? Wow, we
That
definitely
should have been
remember
the
different
first
things.
story. I know.
Well, his cake fell. So what happened? Was it like something out of a Tide commercial where it goes in slow motion?
Kind of, and I knew immediately that he was going to mirror my response. So
You're so good at that, Susie.
it's just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome! Let me get a picture. And so we just had a laugh, and it wasn't ruined. It just was like the top bit.
Oh my God, you're so that is awesome parenting.
Thank you. That's so nice
Dude.
of you to say.
No, that really is because
It could
my
have been a
instinct
tragedy.
in that moment would be to like look to him, and then you have to be to know that in that split second There's a lesson for all the parents out there.
Well, maybe some kids wouldn't have been like that. But for him, I knew that if I were upset or sad or gave him the permission to be, then he would have done that. And so I was just like, let's just laugh about this.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was cute. But yeah, you just reminded me. I could go for one of those ice cream bars.
Mm-hmm. You know, everything that you're saying is so... I was reading a book, like a therapy book, and they were talking about parenting and how really, like we were saying, I say over and over, the problem is never the problem. It's our reaction to the problem that's the problem. Mm-hmm. And they gave 3 examples of parenting of a kid spilling milk, like in the morning right before school. And like what are 3 different ways to react to that? And the last one, which is like the optimal one, is exactly what you did of like, oh my gosh, isn't it funny how milk spills sometimes, and like blah, 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 and like, you know, make a little story out of it or joke out of it and like, hope this doesn't happen tomorrow, and like, looks like I'm going to be more careful taking the milk out. Like, you know, and
the
it's
problem
like you just do that intrinsically, and I just think that's so beautiful.
That's really nice of you to say. But it does become a problem, though, when the milk does get spilled each day. And you keep saying, I told you to be careful. That's when I get annoyed, when it's a pattern rather than just like a random accident.
Oh, yeah. When there's a pattern.
Yeah, because they're not learning to be more careful.
You're right.
That makes
and so
me crazy.
sometimes, and I know this is going to sound, and I don't know what the data is to back this up, but sometimes I wonder about that being shame, the role of shame. And how there is a little bit of that being important, like a little bit, not to obviously shame your child.
No, for sure.
But that little feeling of like, oh, I'm going to let somebody down or, you know, like I'm thinking about, we had talked a long time ago on this show about kids who after a certain age where it's like not appropriate for them to be forgetting this, forget to flush the toilet. And how that's not a good sign. And how maybe kind of embarrassing them about that a little bit, you know, not to other people,
it's so true.
Of course, might be the thing that they need because they're like they're not experiencing that feeling of shame and like embarrassment or
Sarah,
wanting to do the greater good.
That's how people become those farting families because there's no shame.
Mm.
You have to have a touch of it where it's just like, well, that's gross and that's not okay for this room or this time.
And even though it feels uncomfortable, like we know that these that emotions serve a purpose. Right. So we can't just shut them all out and say, well, I don't want to feel sadness. I don't want to feel shame. I don't want to feel whatever. Because there is some, Something
there's
that
some I for sure have felt shame about, and I think a lot of people can relate, is bad skin.
Oh, absolutely. I have.
Just thinking about this the other day, how strange it is that we experience shame about things we can't help, but we do. And that's how I was, or anytime I have a blemish, I have that same feeling of like, oh, I hate this feeling. But I do use BioClarity now, and it has improved my skin dramatically. I'm so grateful for it. Anybody that has problem skin knows what that feels like. It's not fun. And they have a 3-step program. I use the Clear Skin routine, which helps with breakouts and any kind of breakout-prone skin. It soothes you, but it's also effective in fighting those spots. And I just love it. So their products are 100% vegan, cruelty-free, all of that good stuff. And you can get healthier, more radiant skin by going to bioclarity.com. And right now for our listeners, you will save 40% on skincare routine plus additional 15% off everything on their website. It's an incredible deal, but you need to enter our code BRAINCANDY at checkout. Go to bioclarity.com and get 40% off skincare routines plus an additional 15% off everything on their website when you use our code BRAINCANDY at checkout. I had a gal just send me a message the other day on Instagram, and she said, I finally broke down and ordered BioClarity, and I'm so glad I did. And I think that's so funny that I've been like badgering people, and finally they're like, fine. Down.
Yes, I'll do it. Yeah. And then they are like, oh, this is really lovely.
Well, it's so
I've never used a product so consistent. Like, I've been using it for like 3 or 4 years now.
No, me too.
And never changed. And now I can't remember, now, knock on wood, the last time I had a breakout. But also, now that it's summer, I start using this on my butt bumps, and they're all going away because it gets hotter.
Oh, my God.
It's the same thing. And when it gets hotter, it gets sweatier and there's more bacteria. And I'm wearing leggings, like, working out and, like, in my fit summer. And so, sometimes you just like your face. And so I just put the number 2 step right on there, and it's great.
Right on your tushy. That's so
right
good.
On my tushy. Or I guess it's number 3, the salicylic acid one. I love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
See, just listen
Use it
to
anywhere.
us. Jeez, what do we have to do around here?
Yeah. Acne, back knee, chest knee, butt knee.
Chest knee.
Or I guess it would be high knee.
Oh, that's a good one. Wow, I'm impressed with that.
That's funny.
Good work, Sarah. I was talking to my mom the other day about this family. You know how people have YouTube channels and it's basically just about their family and kids
sure
and stuff. And, it's how you make your living if you're one of these people. But she was saying this particular family that she knew she called it making a fortune on, who knows what that even means. It could be anything. It could be 100,000. It could be 100 million. It could be 10,000. You don't know what she means by a fortune. But
so funny.
They broke up. The family got a divorce. And I thought that was such a thing I never thought about.
I didn't think about that. Ooh.
What in the heck do you do if your family is the very thing that you monetize?
Wow.
Like if we broke up, Sarah.
Man. Oh, don't even put those words into the universe. It's impossible. This is till death do us part situation. It's really like a
funny.
blood, what, like pact, like I don't know, some sort of life sentence you get. Maybe even past then. We'll be ghosts together. That's how it works. Oh, that'll be so fun to haunt people, you and me. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, great. For sure. If I have the opportunity, I will definitely be haunting people.
Yeah, right? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Then we could be like the guys from the balcony at Staten and
in the
Waldorf.
Afterlife.
And in the afterlife, and it would be hilarious.
Oh, God,
Watch, then I get real bitter. Anywho.
Yes.
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Just that if you were to break up with me or if
right.
we were married and we had a YouTube channel, how weird is that then not only do you lose your partner,
yes.
but you lose your income?
Now, here's my question.
Yeah.
So there is this great research center for couples, like relationships, called the Gottman Institute. That's his husband and wife, and who've been at it for years. And I think they're the ones who created the love languages thing, actually.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And they are able to predict with 98% accuracy whether a couple will get divorced with only watching them for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And
They're
I'm
legendary.
wondering if, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the signs of like trouble on the horizon were there. And I would be really interested to go back and watch some of the videos that had some of the husband and wife interacting
and see
if you saw any of this. Yep, maybe some stonewalling, maybe some, because I'm watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills right now, and there is a gal on there named Teddy, and she talks to her husband. Oh, she puts them down all the time, but they don't sound like put downs. They're very subtle. It's like they both do it, and like they were all out, this friend group, one night, and the husband says like, nobody actually wants to marry like the Playboy playmate that you want to bang, and like that's not the person you want to marry, and like just little things like that. That's essentially saying like my wife isn't hot enough for me to think that she's
Jackie
like,
O. She's not Marilyn Monroe.
Totally. And it's like little things that just over and over when you add them up, I'm like, they're doomed. They're definitely getting divorced. And now I think they are divorced.
Oh.
Which is it's sad, but,
Somebody once
the writing
said,
was on the wall.
In addition to these actually scientific ways to determine this, that you can usually tell by someone's landscaping, like when they stop caring about their yard.
Oh, my God.
That there's usually trouble at home.
Are we talking about actual landscaping or the bush that's
their yard?
Yeah.
When their yard's overgrown or like they don't pull their weeds.
I didn't know if this was a euphemism.
It's probably both. Like, let's face it.
It's one way or the other. Either you really love them and you just don't care anymore because it's like,
right.
Or, I'm kind of at that point.
Yeah, right.
That's funny. But our yard looks amazing, so we're good.
Right. I think that's probably true, though, because if your marriage is falling apart, you're probably less inclined to pull weeds.
Definitely.
Makes
and
sense.
It's like like love grows here, like life finds a way,
Love grows
nature.
Here. That's really funny.
I feel like that would be on a sticker.
We got some mail from listeners here.
Ooh, mail time.
Okay. Natalie Nelson sent in words of appreciation, saying that the show has helped her deal with some issues and personal struggles, which I think is really nice of her to say.
Natalie, I'm so glad we could be there in spirit and in voice.
She requests that we look forward to, or she looks forward to when we talk about our childhood's experiences growing up and mental health.
Oh, man. Sometimes I think I'm just a blabbermouth and I talk too much and I'm an oversharer. And then I hear things like this and I'm like, no, we got to talk about the real stuff because it makes people feel connected.
It's really nice. I hear that a lot, that people maybe are going through a tough time and they just want to just escape and enjoy some laughs and learn some stuff. And I feel really honored that they include us.
Yes, thank you. Well, I will talk about my childhood all you want.
Coming right up.
Yes.
An anonymous listener sent in a suggestion, but she doesn't want us to use her name. She said her 8-year-old daughter has been asking to be a boy since she was 3. She does stereotypical boy activities, had her hair cut short, and gets excited when people mistake her for a boy. She asks... I'm curious your thoughts on moving forward. Do we begin using male pronouns? She has not asked us to do that. I've never wanted to push her one way or the other, and I'm still thinking she may outgrow it based on what friends have told me about their own experience. What are your thoughts? And this is just our opinions as people, not as therapists or anything like that.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I think you can play into. I think the most important thing is to not shame them or tell them no in whatever they're thinking. I mean, if a little kid came downstairs and was like, I'm a dinosaur, and they're 5, then we'd be like, oh, you're the scariest dinosaur. Roar, don't eat me. So if they come downstairs and they're like, I'm a boy, you go, oh, well, how is he this morning? I think it's okay to cater to that. It's not doing any harm. It is doing harm if you say, no, you're not, and say, could you imagine if your child came downstairs and was like, I'm a dinosaur, and you're like, no, you're not? And I understand, I'm not downplaying identity, and I'm not saying that who you are and your gender alignment is the same as being a dinosaur, for goodness sakes. But I'm just saying that it's why rain on their parade. So I would probably use whatever they wanted me. And then I think it's always good with kids to just ask things. Well, what do you think this is? What do you think? Da-da-da-da. And sometimes you learn more.
Yeah, they have a lot of insight.
Yes. And then you can kind of see what does this mean to them?
Yeah.
Well, what does it mean to be that?
Okay, this is an example. This is not the same at all, but it's in the same category where kids don't always mean what you think they mean. So
correct.
Lincoln and I were watching that show Minute to Win It, which is so fun on Netflix. It's basically like drinking games, but for a game show, where you with red Solo cups and things like that. And there was a guy competing, and he was, just like a tall, thin, black guy, good looking, wearing athletic stuff. And so Lincoln said, that guy looks like he could be a basketball player. And I said, what do you think it is about him that makes it look like he might be a good basketball player? Because I wasn't sure if he meant skin color, body type, skill. And he was like, well, he looks tall. And you know how basketball players are usually tall. And I said, yeah, that's true. That comes in handy when you play basketball. And then he said... And he has, and I thought he was going to say brown skin or something, but he said he's bald, and basketball players are bald a lot. And that had nothing to do with race at all.
Absolutely nothing at all.
But my instinct was that he was definitely referring to his race, but he absolutely wasn't. And so sometimes you think you know what your kid is getting at, and they're not.
I can't wait for the day where we don't it just becomes like that we see, like Lincoln, you know? Because you can't just say, I don't see, race, because that's not a thing. And I would never want to devalue culture and identity and all that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just like, no, because he's tall. And that's it.
It's
and
almost like he sees
he probably has long arms.
Yeah, each feature is equal in weight to him. So he might...
And in value, yes.
Bring up this shade of one's skin, but it's in the same way that you'd say someone's tall or short or, you know.
Like he would say, well, she is more likely to get sunburned, like looking at me. Like that, like just the facts, you know?
It's just true.
Not like she's more likely to, you know, earn more than somebody else, which unfortunately...
I had a family member that transitioned from female to male, and I knew her since I knew him since he was 7. And then, you know, these same signs that this listener is describing were there, and then they increased over time. And then when puberty hit, then that's when he decided to transition, and it just was a natural progression. So these things will play out how they are going to play out. But yeah, it's just sort of go with the flow.
And there are tons of books out there that talk about this, and, you know, stories about gender fluidity and just, you know, maybe not even attaching a label to it is, you know, my aunt, I was really proud of her. She went to her nephew's, I guess, is it her nephew or maybe her grandson, something like that. But his presentation at school on like a book report that they were doing, and he's in, or some big report they were doing, and he's in junior high, I think, or high school. And there was a gender nonconforming person who I just identified as they. And she was kind of asking me like, okay, so do I say him? Do I say her? And I said, well, what did they say? She said, well, nothing. They didn't say anything. And I said, well, it's always safe to go they, their, them, you know, or theirs. And it was interesting to kind of see her have to think about how you'd use that in a sentence.
Yeah, it takes practice.
Because it does take practice, and it's not something that we naturally do. And maybe if we did that more when we were talking a episode or two ago about how I can always tell the gender of who, you know, certain people are talking to on the phone. Yeah. That maybe if we adapted more of this non-gendered language.
Yeah, for sure.
That we would start talking to everybody the same.
Right. And I almost wish that we just use they and them across the board for everyone, and that way we'd get in the habit. But it is definitely something that takes practice and you can get confused, but you just correct yourself and carry on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we got to live, right?
Yeah. But what a good mom who's like, you know, caring and educating herself and like, you know.
For sure. And just being aware of it. And here's the thing, though. This is a daughter who's taking on some masculine traits. However, I think it's a lot more difficult when it's a boy who has feminine traits. I think there's way more shame, especially from the dads and anyone who's in religion and things like that. That can get real tricky. Because we give girls permission to take on masculine traits because we value men. But we don't really give boys permission to take on girls' traits as much.
That's totally true.
But I wish they did. I always joke that Lincoln's going to have to pray the straight away. Is that offensive? Should I stop saying that? I just think it's a funny flipping of the script.
Yeah. I don't know if it's offensive.
Yeah, it probably is.
I think it's important to flip the script, too. That's why I'm always so mad at white people.
Somebody wrote on our Facebook group that she was like, sorry if like this is offensive, but what's with Susie and Sarah always talking about white straight men?
Well, and you know what? I was just thinking about this morning. I was like, you know, white women, we're not doing that so great
worst.
Either. We're actually, I was literally having this conversation with myself this morning as I was washing dishes. I was like, you know, they at least say out loud, like, and we just vote and then lie about it.
We're voting against our interests, not us.
It's
just
white women.
Dumb. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I have to be really loud, and, you know, I just have to go on tirades, and I absolutely probably am offensive in some ways, like you know, there's a great episode of Broad City where, you know, she's talking about one of the characters on there who was like so outspoken against anything that has to do with like cultural issues and stuff like that. And, you know, she was saying something and her friend says, sometimes you're like so not racist, it comes off as a little racist.
That can happen when you like overcorrect.
Sometimes I probably fall into that category.
Oh, we do.
Because I'm like, all the time. I'm sure I do.
Sometimes when I listen to us, I'm like, we're insufferable. Mm-hmm. We're the worst.
Probably. Yeah.
But we're trying, man.
I'm trying. And, you know, I just got to like... we got a lot of work to do and a lot of, so, you know.
So leave us a 5-star review and zip it.
Yeah.
All right, people. We got to go. Great. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.